welcome to the April 13th, 2021 City of Broussard Council meeting. Please silence your cell phones, and if anyone from the audience would like to comment on an item listed on our agenda, please fill out a blue card located in the back of the room and turn it into our city clerk. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 5 minutes. Please stand for the pledge. Councilman Guerra, would you lead us in a prayer?
We, the members of the Broussard City Council, beg of Thee, Almighty God, to enlighten our minds so that our work will be just and fair in all things. Give us the courage and strength to fulfill our duties according to the laws of the land, and fulfilling also Thy holy will on earth and in heaven. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Item 2.1, acceptance of the minutes of the March 23rd, 2021 meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
I move.
I'll second.
So the minutes were supplied in everyone's packet. Do we have any public comment, Tina?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
Question?
District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large? Yay. Motion carries.
Item 3.1, resolution number 663-21. A resolution authorizing the mayor to accept the donation of the entrance road to Fizo's Restaurant and the additional required right-of-way. Do we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
So, an explanation about this agenda item. DOTD was in a meeting with me and a few other people from the city recently, and they made the request to us that they've identified the median cut on Ambassador Caffrey in front of Fizo's as a spot that needs to be improved. And they are willing to add a turn lane on Ambassador Caffrey and pay for it, fund it and add it. But the problem was that they cannot do that by their policies if it turns into a private road. So if you remember when Fizo's first built, there was some talk with them years ago, and they asked for what city standards were, and they wanted to build that entrance road, although it's a dead end today, to city standards. Mel, if you don't mind commenting on this. So I asked Mel to go out and take a look at the road and test it to see if it was up to our standards. And Mel, if you want to report on that, please.
Yes, we did dig a couple of cores, one on either lane, and we submitted them to Louisiana testing, and they analyzed them, and they did, in fact, come back with the analysis that they do have 12 inches of salt cement and 4 inches of asphalt, which meets our standards.
Thank you, Mel. So I have spoken to one of the owners of Fizo's, and they verbally agreed to this. But in order to take it forward, Jared would have to prepare a document for the donation. I would need your approval before I could sign the document. So the item is up for discussion tonight, and approval if you'd like to approve.
Mel, we need to make any drainage improvements?
No, sir, not at this time.
Ray, we are intending on making that road all the way to Albertsons Parkway. Or to our site.
There had been conversations in years past about extending that road possibly through Ambassador Caffrey. This is related but unrelated to that. We haven't really looked at the cost of that, but Broussard does own property further behind that location, behind this road, where if you remember we had dug a test well. We've talked about adding a water tower at that location that we own sometime in our future, part of our long-term planning. So Broussard does own property there. It's a likely candidate for the council to look at for a road extension. But just for tonight's purposes, what I'm trying to accomplish is that I can get the contract done with DOTD, and I can get them to fund and build a turn lane there. It is a median that is heavily used and sometimes problematic because cars are often turning through that small, median cut. But to answer your question, I think we'll be looking at that,
In the future?
in the future.
Question?
No public comments. Okay. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large,
Yay.
District 1. Yes. Motion carries.
Item 4.1, ordinance number 21-687, an ordinance amending the 2020-2021 operating budget of revenues and expenditures for $395,000 in capital outlay to fund J-Turns number 2 and J-Turn number 3 on South Bernard Road. Do we have a motion to introduce?
I move.
So Mr. Daniel Hutchinson is here. At our last council meeting, he gave us a report about the J-turn plan for the entirety of Bernard Road, and at that meeting, I believe I understood the council's will at that time to fund the first two. We were suggesting number 3 at, I believe number 3 at a minimum. So Daniel, you've put the numbers together, and this is between Hard to Farm Road and Ambassador Caffrey, correct?
Yes, sir. So this is for J-turns 2 and 3. This is our engineering estimate, a construction estimate for it. We've based it off of, I've talked to some contractors, I've got some current pricing. I feel this is a real good budget number, but materials are really fluctuating right now. So, you know, once we get the design finalized and get a takeoff, and the quantities and all that, we'll come back. But I feel we'll be good with these numbers.
And the funding also includes any right-of-way acquisitions we might have to make, correct?
Yes, sir. We did add some money in there for that.
Well, if you look at the map, David, there's some bulb outs where the cars turn. Yeah, you see the same thing on Ambassador Caffrey at some of the turnarounds.
Yeah, we would need for drainage and utilities and for like a future sidewalk or something like that, we would need some additional right of way to go around. Yeah, because you don't want to be walking across that.
Tina, do you have any public comment?
No public comments.
Question?
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large, District 1. Yes. District 2.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.2, ordinance number 21, thank you, Daniel. Ordinance number 21-688, an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the city of Broussard to include the following maps. Map E-7 of property to be zoned LI, light industrial, community commercial portions of South Bernard Road and West Pinhook Road. Map E8, property to be zoned community commercial, light industrial, portions of West Pinhook Road and South Bernard Road. Map F-14, property to be zoned community commercial, portions of Young Street, LA Highway 92. Do we have a motion to introduce?
I'll make a motion. Second.
So these maps were supplied, were approved and recommended at the two zoning and planning meetings. Mr. Jarrell was there. Jarrell, would you like to comment on the maps? And they are supplied within this packet.
The matter was presented to the planning and zoning, and all comments were heard from interested parties, and the planning has recommended that these maps be adopted.
Map D8 includes some land I believe was recently annexed into the city of Broussard on 182 near South Bernard Road. And yeah, right across from the intersection that's being worked on now. Is there any public comment, Tina?
No public comments.
Further council discussion?
District 4,
Yes.
District five?
Yes.
District six?
Yay.
At large? District one? Yes. District two?
Yes.
District three?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 4.3, ordinance number 21-689, an ordinance amending the 2020-2021 operating budget of revenues and expenditures for $130,000 for a water line improvement from Highway 90 to Lake Talon Road along Southwood Drive and Cruz Avenue to add a 12-inch water line with 50% to be reimbursed by the developer. Do we have a motion to introduce?
Second.
So, Chief Champagne is here. There is a 12-inch water line on Highway 90 currently shown. The red line is showing where the new water line would go, and Cobo Engineering Mr. Daniel worked with Chief Champagne to make sure that our fire department was in agreement with this plan. From Highway 90, there's currently a 6-inch water line that travels down, is it Southwood? Southwood, and then onto Cruz Avenue, and then to Lake Talon Road. There's an 8-inch water line. Chief Champagne has reported that we have deficiencies in our system as far as our flow rates go. Loadmaster is connected below where the map stops here, which has been a concern and a negative mark for the city as far as our PIL goes. This plan would add a second water line on the other side of the street, correct, Brian?
Correct. It's going to add a second water line with a higher volume, higher pressure, so that should give us a better flow rate for the target building, which is Loadmaster in that area. When PIL comes in, they look at high square foot buildings and the water flows that are in front of them, and they rate you accordingly. That is a deficiency that is an area that has deficiencies, so I really think that the 12-inch water line is going to improve that area tremendously and hopefully get us off, at least that building off of the list. So it's definitely an improvement for us.
So once this is done, there'll be new fire hydrants on this 12-inch water line?
Correct. Daniel and I pinpointed, I believe, 3 hydrants that'll be added to that 12-inch line, which will be evenly spaced to make the better use, the best use of the hydrants in that area.
So we'll have a 6-inch and a 12-inch hooked to the 12-inch at Highway 90.
Correct.
Then they'll both be hooked to the 8-inch that exists at Talon Lake Road. That industrial park has seen a lot of activity lately, and those flow rates are part of,
Yes.
of what's being presented tonight to make sure that they're adequate for the developers that are building there.
Yeah, that 6-inch line is feeding the 8-inch, so we're not really getting adequate flow from that line.
So we currently have an agreement with a developer that's doing work in the industrial park. Gerald mocked up an agreement. They are willing to sign it, but I cannot sign unless the council approves that they would fund the improvement on the water line. Council discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have a question. Can our half be reimbursed by the stimulus that we just received since it pertains to infrastructure, water, and sewage?
Everything we know today points at yes, but what I'm hearing from the state is that we'll have the procedures by May 11th or so. What we don't know is if the state will have start dates and stop dates and particular windows that we have to work in and how we need to work in them. So generally I would say yes, but until we read the document, it could read that you must fund within this certain window or you must finish the job within that certain window. So, my intention would be to try to spend every bit of it improving the infrastructure in the city of Broussard, water and sewer. I just don't know enough to answer that question with confidence yet.
Mayor, as we talking about infrastructure improvements to that area with the garment factory coming, Southwood to Cruz needs to be resurfaced. I think in the next year's budget, we're gonna have to look at it. It's in bad shape. No, it's not a long section of road, so I think we can look at that in the next year's budget. Oh, it's Well, you got a couple of rig companies back there that moving, I mean, it's, yeah. So I'd like to give everybody a heads up. Yeah.
That's a
Let's look at
great
that.
suggestion.
And make
Councilman,
sure-
we're starting to build a list of, roads to be repaved or to at least look at it in the upcoming budget, so we could definitely add these two roads
I'd like
and
to do
try
that.
to work it into the plan.
Thank you.
Call for the question.
No public comments? District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large? District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 5.1, ordinances for adoption. Ordinance number 21-686. An ordinance amending the 2020-2021 operating budget of revenues and expenditures for $14,000 in the general fund capital outlay to purchase a Kubota lawnmower for the maintenance department. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I'll move.
I'll second.
This is an item for one of Mel's departments. Mel, do you have any comments on this item for the council?
No, sir, I think we had spoke about it last meeting, and I think we were comfortable with it. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Okay, no changes since then?
No, sir. So, yes, sir.
Is there any public comment, Tina?
No public comments.
Question.
District 6, at large? District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Other business, item 6.1, Mr. Mel Bertrand, variance to release the 6-foot portion of the drainage easement for the property at 200 Saint Nazaire for the building which encroaches into the city drainage easement. Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion. Second.
Mr. Mel?
Yes, I was asked to go and look at this particular building to see if it would have been a problem to grant a variance to this drainage easement. And this building in particular has been in that place for as long as I can remember. It hadn't posed a problem before. I don't see any problems. The only stipulation that I do have is that we would retain, there's an easement on either side of the coulee. We need to retain the easement on the northern side of the coulee because that would be our only avenue to be able to service that drainage system. But I have absolutely no issue with granting this variance at this time.
Is the coulee in good shape, Mel, drainage-wise?
It is. We did some drainage work there not that long ago. Naturally, there's a bunch of stuff that's going on right there. Future construction that we're aware of. So we may have to revisit it in the near future.
Do we have public comment, Tina?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
At large? District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
Motion carries.
Item 6.2, Mr. Jeff Faust with Faust Holdings LLC, variance request for property at 222 Burgess Drive, Unit 1, from light industrial to community commercial for the length of the proposed lease of 5 years. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Councilwoman Rockout, I believe this is your item.
Yes, Mr. Faust, is requesting a variance for 222 Burgess, units 1 and 2, currently occupied by Louisiana Judo LLC, which is a martial arts studio owned by Mr. Matt Davis. And, currently it's zoned for light industrial. We're asking that we go down to community commercial for units 1 and 2 for the life of the business, 5 years or more if possible. I want to correct the 5 years I talked to Tina about. So we're asking for the council's approval for the variance.
So Angel, Gerald, we'd have to make a correction on the way the variance is written. You'd like it to exist for as long as the business is in the building? Is that?
Louisiana Judo, yes. LLC.
Okay, so I'm hearing that. How How would you recommend that the council handle that, Gerald?
I think just, as been done now, it's brought to the attention of the council. It says for the length of the lease, proposed lease, I'm sure the term is 5 years, but it has extensions, so it'll be part of the same lease.
So they would be covered upon council's
Correct,
approval
correct,
to have
correct.
it there in units 1 and 2 for the life of the business.
Correct.
Okay. Welcome, Ms. Faust, to our meeting.
I need to correct that too. We talked about it again before the meeting.
So this reads as Unit 1, and the intention is for Unit 1 and 2, is that correct? Unit 1 and 2?
Yes.
So I think the appropriate thing would be to, for someone to make a motion to cover both units. I think it's properly before the council at this time. We can include both units if the council would just amend the motion for the variance to cover both.
I'd like to make a motion that we move to unit 1 and 2 for light industrial.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Is there any public comment?
No public comments.
Question?
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large.
Yay.
Motion carries.
Mr. Faust, thank you. We appreciate you investing in Broussard and being part of our community. Mr. David, thank you. I apologize. That was the last item on our agenda. Please drive safely. Thank you for joining us tonight. Meeting adjourned.